So I should be implementing the elevators right now, but then I gotta like do a bunch of work and design some menus and stuff, and that seemed kind of boring. And I've been wanting to do a new video on the game for a couple days. I feel like maybe even like a couple weeks now. I feel like I did like all the work that I'm going to be showing off today in the first like couple days after the last video I put out. And I wanted to show it all off because last time I put out a video, I got tons of awesome feedback, and I feel like it really accelerated the development of the quality of the game by a massive amount. I feel like I just had such a laser focus on what was important based on what other people said. Like, I had some people play the game for me. A lot of people commented on the video and on the Reddit post of the video. Come on. Come on, door. And so yeah, I've gotten lots of really cool stuff, lots of stuff that it seems like it's important to people. Like, a lot of people surprisingly said that they wanted like gore like Hotline Miami has, which I guess isn't that surprising because Hotline Miami has some pretty sick gore. But it wasn't something that like I thought was super important. Like, it didn't seem very essential to the gameplay, but after adding the gore system, basically everybody who's played the game has said that it's just so much more satisfying and fun to play, having just like fucking blood and guts everywhere. I feel like this weapon isn't safe to use because I don't know how much ammo it has. Maybe I should do this. Oh, that guy's already dead. Alright, now we got one shot and a shotgun. Let's do that. I also added these breakable glass windows, which are really, really cool. Like, I spent a long time thinking about whether I wanted them to be waist high or full length. Oh, that guy's out of ammo. He's fucking not a challenge at all. Done. And I ended up going with waist high, which is the implied state of the Hotline Miami ones. Like, in Hotline Miami, you can shoot through them and enemies can see you through them. Damn, that's not a very good time. Or any good stats. But enemies can't like run through the walls. And I thought it'd be funny just to have an enemy just like see you be holding a knife and just sprint through a glass wall at you. I thought it'd be really funny, but I think this makes more interesting gameplay scenarios. So yeah, I did that. I obviously did this end game screen here. And I initially had the challenges were a par time, and then the goal was to get the par time and also in that same run stun enemies a certain amount of times. Like, there was like a par for how many stuns you wanted to do, and then there was also a par for how many different weapons you use. So the goal was basically to like throw your weapon a lot and switch up how you played. Like, I'm trying to incentivize fun and interesting ways to play. But it ended up just being really tedious, and the way you would get the stun achievement is you just, like, every enemy you killed, you just, like, go like that real quick to just stun them. You just, like, throw the fucking gun at their feet and then grab it again. So it wasn't very fun. But trying to beat a level with guns only or melee only, both, like, really, really unique and interesting challenges. Like, melee only is obviously really hard. Let me start this again. Melee only is obviously really hard because you have to get, like, right up to the enemies, which is much more challenging, especially with some of the AI changes that I've done. And guns only is really hard because it's like such a high aggro strat. Like, so many situations you're in, you want to use a melee weapon because you're like, oh, I'm between 4 rooms. If I use a gun right now, like 8 dudes are gonna show up. Yep, lots of dudes. Yeah, I knew I was doomed. I heard like 5 gasps. That's another thing I did. Based on people who actually played the game's feedback, a lot of people said that they were struggling to parse all the things that were happening with the enemies. Fuck. And so I added enemies will gasp when they first see you, and you can also hear their footsteps behind walls, and you can hear their footsteps speed up when they like start to run to chase you. I also added this knife, which is a melee weapon, which is very fast and very short range, but it also is the only weapon currently in the game which kills when you throw it at someone. Like, usually they just knock enemies down and then they get back up. One of the things that was very, very specific requested in the Reddit thread was enemy hats flying off. So that's a thing now. Enemy hats also shoot out blood when you shoot them. And there is literally no power on Earth that is going to make me fix that bug. I love it so much. God damn. I got a really good time on this level earlier. That's like the reason that I made this video is because I was just playing this level. I was so excited to have a new level. This is a new level, by the way. I was so excited to have a new level to play. And I was playing it for like 2 hours earlier. And I just got this amazing time. I beat it in like 18 seconds. My previous best was like 28, and even that took me hours and hours. And I was so excited. I was like, this is the best game ever. I need to make a video. The world needs to know. And so, yeah, let me see. I've got my changelog over here. Is there anything else interesting that I should mention? I did a lot of AI tweaks. AI patterns weren't overtly obvious in the gameplay video that I did. Basically, all the changes there are based on feedback from people who actually played the game. But I made it a little bit more viable to use guns rather than melee weapons, because before it seemed like using the bat was a really, really dominant strategy. Like, even in my successful run in the last video, it was pretty much all bat all the time, until maybe the last room where I used shotgun. Now it's a lot more viable to use both, and it's an interesting decision, like, choosing one versus the other, as opposed to just, like, pretty much always bat. So, like, lots of enemy AI tweaks that aren't really too interesting to talk about. I changed how the gun pickups look, because a lot of people said that they were blending into the environment too much. Even people who just saw the video said that. So now they have this, like, outline around them, even when you don't highlight them. So even I could, like, just throw some guns over at this guy's body, and it's still pretty easy to see that there's a couple guns over there, because you can kind of see the outline. I slowed down enemy bullets as well, which is just another thing to try to make ranged combat more viable. So if you're far enough away from an enemy, potentially you could circle strafe one of their shots. It's pretty unreliable, especially since it's hard to tell if they have a shotgun or not from range, and if they have a shotgun, you are not circle strafing shit. But it's just like one more thing to make it so it's a little bit less of an instant death sentence to get caught, which is something I've been working on a lot, is to make it... Because the game is the most fun when you're, like, accidentally aggroing enemies and, like, you don't know exactly what's happening. You're just kind of spastically running through. Like, it's fun to, like, do your min-max strat and, like, try to find the perfect route through a level. But I feel like the most exciting gameplay moments are, like, when you're just flipping out and everything's going wrong. And so I'm trying to make it so that not only are you incentivized to play in ways that make everything go wrong, but also, like, you're not just gonna immediately die when everything goes wrong. What else do we have? I think that might be about it in terms of new stuff. Mostly just been spending a lot of time tweaking the AI, performance optimizations, making this new level, and working on the end screen and the goals and stuff. I had to play the game a lot to figure out shit. No. To figure out some fun goals. But I'm really happy with the ones I have right now. I don't think I'm gonna add any others. I don't really have any other good ideas. But I like it. Like, I wanted something that had 3 axes. Like, I wanted 3. And I've got time, and I've got the 2 guns only and melee only. So I'm happy with that. And the game is just coming out so fun. I was showing the game to my friend Green9090, world famous YouTuber, and he's like my most trusted game design, not advocate, advisor, yeah. And I'm always very interested to see what he says about my games, because he's really good at games, and he's really good at, like, picking apart mechanics and, like, bending the mechanics until they break. And he's the one who, like, drew my attention to the fact that there's, like, in the last build, there was just no reason to use anything other than the bat. I want to beat the level one more time before I end this video. But yeah, so I was showing the game to him, and initially, like, the first build, he was like, oh, this is pretty cool, and he had, like, lots of feedback on, like, how the bat's totally broken, and a lot of different stuff. And I implemented a bunch of his feedback and a bunch of everybody else's feedback, and I sent him the next build, and I can't remember the exact words that he said, but he was just he was losing his shit at how good it was, and I was very happy. He was like, he was just shocked at how much progress had occurred. Oh no, all right. In the small amount of time, and he said basically that he was like, yo, you're fucking done. Like, you just make more levels and release the game. And I was very pleased, because he's a picky dude, and he knows about game design. So if he thinks that it's mechanics complete, that makes me feel good. I disagree. It's not quite mechanics complete. I want to add one more enemy type and lots more weapons and stuff, but makes me very pleased to know that he is into the game. Fuck. Okay. Yeah? Fuck. Oh, man. All right. We're just going to get one good run, and then everything's going to be great. Fuck. I knew I was doomed when I didn't successfully enter the room. All right. I used to have a strat. This isn't the strat that got me 18 seconds. My old strat was you come into this room, and you deliberately stand in the corner, which just gets you barely close enough to that room to aggro one of those guys. You hope for a shotgun drop, and then you can kill both those guys if you do it more efficiently. Gotta do it, like, all in one smooth motion. This, and then, yeah, he'll be, like, in the corner so he doesn't see you. And then apparently, oh, there's a knife guy that gets aggroed, like, 50% of the time by that strat. I forgot. He comes in from the other room. Oh! Oh! No! What was my strat that got me? I think my strat that got me 18 seconds was this one. Which you just, like, go into that corner, spaz out, come in here, And then it kind of like, I was shocked that I got 18 seconds on that run because it kind of all got away from me and I was just kind of running around screaming. But it went really well. Can I aggro one of these guys? I don't think I have ammo. Oh, I do. There's a little glitchiness with the blood. I don't actually know why that's happening. I feel like there's no collision geometry here for the blood to be hitting. I don't know why it's splatting like that. Not pleased. Oh, that dude's in fucking walking around mode. Oh, he's coming. Got him. All right. Oh. No! All right, one more try. Just give me one more. Just 5 more minutes, Mom. There we go. Yes, I knew he was coming. I heard his stupid little feet. All right, both the melee enemies in there are dealt with. We might as well, I guess. No ammo! So I'm currently on the fence. Oh, that's another huge change that I made that I talked about why there was no crosshair last video. Now there is one. But yeah, a lot of people, like, it's just one of the many things that I did to try and make, I don't know what strat that is that I'm trying to do. It's one of the many changes that's just trying to make guns more viable. And I feel like I liked the feeling of not having a crosshair. Like, I liked the feeling that it made me feel when I would successfully make shots. Like, it made making shots feel very, like, high skill, and it made gun shootouts very stressful. But I feel like the feeling that I would get when I would miss was bad enough to not make the success feeling worth it. Like, I felt like I would miss and it wouldn't be my fault. It felt very, like, random. Like, I'd be like, oh, man, I missed. Like, if only I had a crosshair. And it felt really good to get a successful shot because it was really hard. But I don't think it was worth. I think that the shooting being satisfying, very important. And just, like, you couldn't really get into very fast-paced encounters. Someone's coming. Oh, fuck. I did not expect a shotgun. You couldn't get into very fast-paced encounters because you couldn't react quickly. Like, I can come in here and shoot both of these guys really quickly because I can fucking aim at them. Whereas before, it would be a lot more luck of the draw and a lot more just memorizing the exact hand motion that I had to do, which is just not fun. Like, I liked the old system on an emotional level, but mechanically, it just wasn't good enough. Okay, I don't think this shotgun has ammo. Maybe this one does. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Where is these people coming from? I really want to beat the par time. All right, I think I'm going to go for a sub-par run. Okay. I don't have any ammo in this, but it's just a melee enemy, so I can do that. Oh, come on. All right, so we come in here, aggro everybody. This does not have a 100% success rate, that little corner strat. I'm surprised it hasn't failed me yet. Okay. Okay. Oh, this is really good. I think I still have a shot to deal with that guy. Oh, I don't like this. I don't know what to use. Ah! Oh, no! That's not the right strat at all. I was also working on something where I do this. But it's really hard. Yeah, I think you have to get inside the elevator. Wait, no, not like that. You come down here, and then you back down the hall. You have to wait a really long time before you shoot them, or else you'll aggro so many enemies. Oh, no! No! Yeah, I don't think that works anymore. I slightly tweaked the enemy detection radius to make, I think, that strat is impossible now. Fuck you. Also, enemies sometimes deflect bullets with their melee weapons, which I think is really funny, so I don't want to fix it, but it's also always, like, 100% of the time, it doesn't feel good. Like, it feels really shitty and dumb. Like, it's like, oh, that guy just happened to swing his melee weapon at the right time, and now I lose! But it's also, it looks so cool when they do it and it doesn't end in you dying. Like, sometimes an enemy will, like, straight up cut your bullet out of the air with their knife, just by random happenstance that they just happen to swing a little bit early. And when you survive, it feels, like, awesome and epic. But a lot of times it just causes you to die because you shot them at point-blank range and hit their weapon. It can only happen if they're mid-swing, though. Are we gonna win? I don't think we're gonna get par. I spent a lot of time not going... Yo, that bullet was about to hit me as I won. And that's not par at all. That's fucking bad. I think I have to raise the par in this level. It's really, really hard. This is gonna be one of the last levels of the game, though. This is deep late game shit. There's like 16 enemies in this level. I think that's it. I feel like this video was ever so slightly more rambly and boring than the first one, which is crazy because I did the first one at like 3 a.m. and this one I'm like alert and freshly coffeed, and the game is objectively way better. I don't know. Well, thank you for watching. If you watched, I mean, there's no if, I suppose. If you're hearing these words, then you watched. I don't know, maybe you skipped to the end. Maybe you're just like, I wonder what he says for the last 8 seconds of the video. You didn't actually watch it. In that case, thank you for nothing, and you're horrible, and I hate you. But everybody else is cool. All right, give me more feedback so I can make the best game ever. This video's over now.